Are we coming back home?
Yeah, Pat's just dinged.
Still spinning. Okay. I'll look.
Coming on this guy. All right, look it. I'm gonna click on it. Oh,
It's
taking-
effective.
It's taking that. Like 4 of them.
Oh, Bob, I guess. I guess the other supervisors didn't get the memo. I read.
Oh,
It wasn't one of them the last time. Is it?
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
What's that there? Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll call the March meeting of the Wishart County Board of Supervisors to order. We'll start out with roll call. Okay, very good. We're all present. So stand now for the silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you're all sent an agenda. If you looked over the agenda, there's no additions or corrections. I would look for a motion to approve. A motion by Bonfiglio. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Bossard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. And then you've all had gotten the minutes of the February 20th, 2024 monthly meeting. Look for motion to approve. Motion by Wadle, second by Peterson. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. All right, public comment. We have 4 people that signed up for public comment. First one's Eric Reese.
I come tonight to you gentlemen with a dilemma of Brian Freimark with gross negligence. We have passed the ATV thing, which great success. However, there are roads that are not signed correctly. And with them not being signed correctly, they could lead to a fatality, which could lead to some sort of suit with either the county or the highway department. It also makes it very tough on our sheriff's department to enforce laws if things are not posted clearly for them to do so. One of them is County Road H on the north side of Poisippi. There is no route end sign where it meets 49. Again, on Highway 49, the north side of Poisippi, where the speed limit changes to 40. The route is supposed to end there. There is no sign. County Road F, where it dead ends at 73, there is no sign. These are just examples of Brian's gross negligence to fail to do his job. It has the potential outcome to cause serious safety issues to a person or a fatality. What is it going to take for you guys to get rid of him? Does there need to be a fatality? I sure hope not. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Reese. All right, next one is Sam Wood.
Well, I'm back. It seems like you were banking on me just being a blowhard and going away. That ain't happening. I told you until you bring Brian Frymark's and George Nye's termination or resignation papers, I was not letting up. I've been told by Jarvis, the board fears a lawsuit from Brian and George. Is that your answer, to just let the monkeys run the zoo? I've been told the board doesn't get involved in day-to-day operations of the county. Well, I can tell you that ain't working. For us taxpayers, you were voted for these positions to do just that. We didn't vote you in to pass resolutions to tell people good job. We need you to take charge and do what's important to the people. I got home Sunday and I took a quick tour of the county shop, and there have been some improvements, but there are still some serious safety concerns. And when I brought them up to Brian, he actually thought they were funny. Have any of you took the past couple of weeks to go take a look? I worked my ass off to pay taxes so this guy can get paid. I'm having trouble stomaching that. And so are a lot of other taxpayers. Speaking of taxpayers, let's quick talk about these new buildings. Have any of you run the numbers on what you have cost the taxpayers of this county? $89,500,000. Let's say we pay for it with property tax. Well, there's 407,000 acres in Waushara County. That math comes out to $220 for every single acre. Okay, that sounds bad. Let's look at it a different way. We have approximately 24,934 people in this county as of the July 2023. So far, every man, woman, and child, each of them will need to pay $3,589. I know there's a lot of ways to look at it, but you know what we about to say? It's $89,500,000. That's a lot of money. We need you guys to listen to us, and we need accountability. We need you to shut the damn lights off at the county buildings when nobody's there, and we need to make sure Brian has a plan if we get hit with this next snowstorm.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Next is Rita Kelly.
Good evening. A couple of weeks ago, the Waushara County Highway Department did some tree trimming on County Road H in Wild Rose and the township of Springwater. They left the roadside littered with torn trees, bushes, wood chips, and large ruts in the soil. A tractor with a sidearm was used for a large portion of this work, which left it looking like a tornado went through, ripping and tearing the landscape. The remainder of the mess on the road was cleared with the snow blade on a large county truck. The chipper left all the chips in piles instead of spreading them thin or collecting them in the truck to haul away. Year-round residents have been raking, but where do we take the debris? There is a ban on burning. It is not accepted at Springwater dump site, and we are outside Wild Rose village limits to dump on County Road A behind the fire department. My neighbor is 94 and he just lost his wife. A lot of those trees were trimmed, and I would appreciate a county truck for my husband and I to load it and have it removed before he returns from Florida the end of April. Discover Wisconsin is a TV show covering the beauty of different counties in our state. Waushara County will not for a long time appear again on the show due to large piles of tree debris, piles of dirt and junk on our roadsides and in yards. Last week along State Road 22, just before the village city limits on the south end of town, Waushara County Highway Department removed 7 trees with not a wood chip branch or leaf left at the site. Last week, Jason Pascal replied to my 2 emails concerning the way the work was completed on County Road H. He said sometimes when they are trimming to prepare for future road work and safety concerns, branches will break into smaller pieces when they hit the ground. What? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. All right, and then our last one is Tara Anderson.
Good evening. I want to touch on some of the stuff that has already been touched on tonight. I'm sure you guys know, but just putting it out there, that I think that there is a lot of county residents that do feel the same way about the county highway department and how it's ran. So I, again, what Sam stated also, I wish you guys would go and check things out and see how things are being ran by the leadership there. Take the time out of your day. I'm also curious on why the county building, the new county building was built, how you guys were able to approve it without the county voting on it, with all the referendums that are going on with the school districts that have to be approved. I don't understand how you guys were able to do it without a referendum and getting a vote from the county. I'm also curious on what you're doing with this old building. I really, really hope that you're not just going to tear it down, because that would be very, very sad for this county to lose this wonderful building and the history in it. Two different topics now. How do who's going to answer my questions that I have to get back with me? B, how do I find out a map of all of the districts to figure out where you guys are all located and who covers what areas? And then also, does the county board have a direct employee with the county? Are all of your employees, the employees of the county, under you guys? How does that work? For instance, like with the school board, our direct employee is the district administrator. So I'm wondering if there's a thing like that. So I'm just curious if you guys have a set employee that you deal with or supervise. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. All right, very good. That concludes the public comments for this evening. There's no unfinished business. We'll move into new business. Reports. The first one is County Administrator's Monthly Report with our Corp Council Interim Administrator Ruth Zelski.
Hello, everybody. I guess that a couple of things. We received another $10,700 in our opioid lawsuit last week. So we're continuing to get money. That was not one of them that I reported on when we did the last thing. So this is one of our distributor payments that is coming in every year. So those are still coming in. April 6th, Blue Ribbon Kids Day is back this year. It will be at Parkside. So Department of Human Services, EMS, Sheriff's Department are all involved in that, along with a lot of other community partners. So I recommend that you check that out. April 16th, after the county board reorganizational meeting, from 12:30 to 3 will be the open house at the highway shop with a ribbon cutting at 2. And then on April 17th at 6 o'clock, there is a community meeting at Riverview to talk about their referendum. So if you're interested in what their project is or how their planning process has been going, that'll be their first of their community meetings to talk about that. We're still in discussions with the Y regarding potential uses for this building. We had a meeting earlier this month with a group called the Alexander Group out of Madison. They contacted us through Bob Welch and hooked up with the Y. They are working on plans that would potentially keep the historical part of the courthouse as like office space and like some smaller exercise rooms or community rooms, and then taking down the newer addition on the back half so that a gym could be built with regular size ceilings and potential space for a pool in a second step. They're working on getting those plans further developed and looking at how historical credits would work, as well as the Y has applied for a grant with the Department of Administration through some governors' non-governmental money. So they're waiting to hear about that. They did contact me again today that they had met with Senator Tammy Baldwin's office yesterday about some congressional district funding. And so they're working on putting together some stuff for that. So the Department of Human Services provided me some information on our daycare and that, and Debbie Pavla from the Department of Aging provided me some information on some of the senior programming and what impact a Y would have to be able to help bring in additional childcare and senior programming for the county. So we continue to work with them on that. I did have another conversation with Mr. Osmond from Wild Rose regarding the North Annex earlier this week. He is still very much interested. A lot of his plans depend upon what happens here. And if the Y does go through, and do they need both lots for their project, or will one of them be still solved? So we're hoping that we're going to have another meeting towards the end of this month, beginning of April, to continue those discussions. And hopefully we'll be able to come up with a solution for what will be done with the two buildings once we vacate them after May. So our plan, though, would be that we would be moving in May. We would be using the rest of May and the first part of June to make sure that all of the equipment that is in this building that is needed in the new building is removed. And then the rest of it would be inventory and put up on the municipal auction site to sell from this location, so that we didn't have to store it anywhere else. And then we would be ready to make some final decisions about what to do with the buildings once all that was done, late summer, early fall. So those discussions are still happening and will continue to happen. Later tonight, we're going to talk about the job description for the county administrator's position and how we want to go about posting that, so that once a new board is elected and the organizational meeting takes place next month, then we can talk about with the new executive committee scheduling time to go over applications and interviews. So I'm anticipating that we'll probably want to run the ad for about 30 days. And so we're looking to get that posted once we have approval of the job description, and get that going so that we can continue to move forward on that. But so that's what's going on around here.
Good. Thank you, Ruth. Does anybody have any questions for Ruth? Okay, thanks. All right, and then we'll have the Land Conservation and Zoning Department Annual Report with the Land Conservation and Zoning Director, Todd Waller.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Do you mind? Should I turn on? Well, it seems like every time I get before you guys, our county has had to overcome, obstacle after obstacle. We've overcome in the past record flooding. There have been increasingly high costs to labor and construction. And then COVID, you got to throw that in there as well. Well, 2023 was no different. It was marred with probably the highest inflation numbers that we've seen in 40 years, and interest rates topping 8%. Despite that, our department, we saw the second highest number of land use permits issued, the fourth highest number of sanitary permits, and the second largest amount of revenue brought in by the building inspection company at about $266,000. In all, we'll return about $91,000 to the general ledger. Last year, we did say goodbye to a couple employees. We said goodbye to Cindy Rettler, who took a position with Tri-County Schools, and we said goodbye to Ed Hernandez, who went on to happy retirement. Despite those losses, we gained two very good employees. We hired a new zoning technician, Thomas Barker, who came to us by way of the city of Marshfield, where he was the city building inspector. And then to replace Ed Hernandez, I promoted Josh Sackley, who worked under Ed for about the last 12 years. Josh, an excellent replacement. As we look forward, I do anticipate that there are going to be some major things that are going to occur here in this county and also national with the political arena And then obviously on a local level, our own board is going to be faced with some changes with new faces. Getting into the meat, I guess, of my presentation, our office issued 523 land use permits, representing 66 new homes, 111 additions to homes, and 346 accessory structures. General Engineering Company, who is our contracted inspection company, issued a total of 481 total permits. The fees collected exceeded $266,000, which was a slight decrease from the year prior, where we were at just roughly $300,000. In addition, we issued 200 sanitary permits authorizing 79 new private on-site wastewater treatment systems, 92 replacement systems, and 11 reconnections to existing systems. And as many of you are aware, we are required by state statute to have a sanitary septic maintenance program. In accordance with this program, these systems are to be inspected every 3 years. Last year, we sent out 3,303 notices. It did result in about 84 citations, but as of the writing of this today, only 7 of those remain. That's a 99.7% compliance rate. Our department conducted over 606 field visits to various properties around the county, including 171 sanitary system inspections, 7 on-site soil verifications, 134 code non-compliance investigations, 17 annual travel trailer inspections, 191 landowner requested information visits, and 86 address number assignments. There were a total of 193 code non-compliance inquiries made to our office, 179 investigations that were brought into compliance, and 113 non-compliance situations that are still pending. Staff worked with 14 non-metallic mining sites involving approximately 260 unreclaimed or active acres, and the annual inspections netted the department roughly $1,490. Switching gears over to land conservation, we secured $43,000 for landowners for hard practices, which include shaping and grading of grassed waterways, riparian buffers, as well as wetland restorations and stream bank systems. We also secured $25,000 for soft practices, which is nutrient management. We tracked a total of 28,833 acres under nutrient management plans, which equates to 30% of the county's tillable land. This is an example of a shoreline restoration project in the township of Saxville, where we use both WEQIP and SWRM funds to restore a shoreline, a stream bank along the Pine River. Last year, we held the 16th annual Conservation Field Days, which is a hands-on environmental learning event at Camp Lucerne. There were over 210 fifth grade students from Waushara County, that both representing private and homeschooled children as well as public. This program has been increasingly funded by donations and is staffed primarily by volunteers in addition to departmental staff. I welcome all of you next year. If you want to participate, please. We'll take you down as a volunteer. We'll put you as a group leader and have a fun day out in the field with the students and staff. This year's event is planned for September 26th and 27th at Camp Lucerne. We also continue to contract with USDA Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, known as APHIS, to provide wildlife damage abatement and claims through their program. Deer damage this year, and that resulted in payment to 10 individuals totaling $45,201. And that for 101 acres that were damaged. We did harvest 163 deers this year. Keep in mind that we're more or less just a mediary, but we do take a small stipend from the DNR for administering the program. As I do every year, I always make mention of the fact that our office is involved in a couple of multi-jurisdictional collaboratives. We're focused on regional and national concerns. The Winnebago Waterways Project is one of these efforts. We work very closely with Fond du Lac County, Winnebago County, Calumet County, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Fox Wolf Watershed Alliance, numerous contributors, as well as volunteers and focus groups. We've now entered into our 4th year of the implementation phase, of this plan. Myself and a few others of the department continue to be involved in the steering committee, as well as a few other technical groups. In addition, we entered into our 2nd year as being a member of the executive committee, which gives us voting privileges and oversight of the Winnebago Waterways program. I know that this is geared more towards next year, but I just wanted to let everyone know, and I know I've made mention to various committees. We recently became a recipient of a grant through the Fox Wolf Watershed Alliance to implement the Climate Smart Initiative agricultural program. To that end, we will be receiving funding for a new agronomist. This person will work very closely with area farmers, promoting and monitoring programs. It's actually a 5-year program, 3 years of which is fully funded through this grant. I'm hoping that once we secure a person, we're in the interview process right now. I'm hoping that at the end of 3 years, I've got another retirement occurring upstairs, that this person will hopefully be ingested into the department and become a full member. And this is just a picture of some of our partners. And I just wanted to point out here, it's tough to see, but Waushara County is represented roughly by here, this being Poygan, but you can see the large amount of the watershed that we contain. That individual will actually be working with farmers in that watershed on water quality initiatives, alternate farming practices, all geared towards improving water quality. Oops, I apologize. The second collaborative is that of the Central Sands Groundwater County Collaborative. We're now entering into our 4th year in this program. We work together with Adams County, Juneau County, Marquette County, Portage County, and Wood County, as well as Golden Sands. Leading the efforts on behalf of Waushara County is Mary Roble, County Health Department, Josh Sackley, our Deputy Director of Land Conservation, Mark Piaski, County Supervisor, and myself. I also head up the communications group, and we recently just developed this brochure, which is an interactive brochure with interactive links. This will also be on our website, as well as the websites of all the supporting counties. And it brings you actually right to the Land Conservation Department and right towards land conservation, water quality initiatives, groundwater results, testing, and anything like that that's been done. Really nice thing. It's, I'm way beyond me when it comes to computers, but they were actually able to make each and every single one of these interactive links that bring you right to the various initiatives that we're trying to work on. In 2023, and I thank you for this, we recently purchased an Esch no-till drill through the remaining dollars that we had in the ARPA Water Quality Initiatives program. This drill will be put into a rental program here starting first planting season. It's designed to improve overall water quality by encouraging farmers to use alternative farming practices through cover cropping and minimal soil disturbance. We'll now have a very similar program to that of many of our surrounding counties and our counterparts, Wapaka, Wood, Adams, Portage, and Outagamie. Nice thing about this is it's an additional revenue source for the county. And lastly, I'd like to talk about one of our truly successful efforts, which proved to be the first of its kind for this region. As it came from the county efforts of improving water quality for its residents. As many of you are aware, we finalized a couple of years ago our private well water testing program that was completed in the fall of 2021. This resulted in 350 tests, total tests conducted, which are shown here on this map, 86 of which had very high elevated levels of nitrates. In 2022 and 2023, through the efforts and use of our ARPA funds, we were able to set up a cost share program to include the installation of water treatment systems in homes with recorded high levels of nitrates. To date, we participated in the installation of 30 systems. 3 whole house systems, 27 single point systems at a cost of around $50,000. Based upon the said systems that we installed, we're actually able to hit all of those the very impaired homes. So people are now drinking clean drinking water, safe drinking water by EPA standards. And I'd like to just introduce my staff, if I may. My Deputy Director of Zoning, Kyle Kutcher, Deputy Director of Land Conservation, Josh Zackley. Oops, I misspelled his name. I apologize. My zoning technicians, Rick Ertl, Thomas Barker, Land Conservation Technician, John Olson, and administrative staff, Michelle Weddy, Becky Hubach, and Laura Johnson. I put in parentheses there the years of service. One thing that I am always remarked about is the tenure that I have within my department, especially given, you know, the workplace environment that we have today, with people just constantly changing hands. My average tenure is 15 years, which is remarkable. To me, that's invaluable. Literally, I have walking encyclopedias and walking, cabinets with information in them each and every day. Based upon the sheer amount of work that we faced in 2023, I applaud each and every every member of my team and that of the entire county for displaying such resiliency. I compare us to other counties and communities that I know, and I truly believe we provide our residents with some of the finest services around for being such a rural county. I say it each and every year and will continue to express my gratitude to you all and to my staff. As always, I maintain an open door policy. Please come by anytime, right down the hall. I don't exactly know a new building, straightforward, left, right. You'll find it, storefront.
We'll find it.
So with that, does anybody have any questions?
Todd, you talked about the water treatment program. And we're the first. Is there any other counties adopting anything like that now?
Portage County has just developed a new system. Adams County is going to use some ARPA funds. Outside of that, I know that the city of Wausau used some ARPA funds for just a regional effort that they did there. But outside of that, we were literally the first one through the gate.
Sure. Yep. It was very popular. Good. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you all.
Appreciate it. All right. No other questions. All right. Very good. We'll move on to part B, discussion, possible motion action items. You were all given the information technology securities policies. Is there any questions, or would someone like to make a motion to approve that? Motion to approve by Bonfiglio. There's a second by Urban. Is there any discussion? Okay.
I found this on
Sorry about that.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I guess Siri would like to speak up on that one, so. You only have 3 minutes. Okay, so if they're hearing no discussion, proceed to vote.
Mr. Eckstein? Mr. Cab?
Yes.
And Mr. King?
Aye, yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Very good. Thank you. The county administrator job description. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve? Motion by Bonfiglio. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Eckstein. Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions on any of it? Ruth is here to answer. Go ahead, Bart.
One thing I had under Ruth,
Yeah.
so I can't get
Okay.
towards that comment in the really reports to states the executive committee, personnel committee.
Yeah, and so the personnel committee is taken out because the executive committee is the personnel committee.
I
So-
just know it's still said in their personnel.
Okay,
committee.
I will make sure that I get that changed because I know it was in there a couple of places, so I will get that out.
Otherwise, you can see we changed a few things to more reflect what the job would be. So.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion?
I
Yeah,
got one
Mr. Urban.
question.
Mhm.
Being that the HR manager roles are striked from there,
Mhm.
is that still considered a requirement for that position, even though it's?
So they would be the backup and like
Okay.
the supervisor,
Over-
because
yeah.
after after we hired Melissa, the county board created a HR manager position that Deb currently has. And so instead of the county administrator used to be in charge of like just the HR person. We didn't have a separate HR person. So now that we have an HR person, the county administrator would be supervising the HR person and be their backup. But the day-to-day, like making sure the job postings got out and running some of the investigations and things like that would go through the HR manager person that we currently have. And then they would also be the initial contact for being the civil rights officer, the ADA compliance officer, and our risk manager. So while those things would not be requirements of the administrator, they would be the person who would be directly overseeing that.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions on the job description? Okay, hearing none, then let's go ahead and vote on that.
Mr. Cap?
Yes. Just do the part started.
Okay, very good.
And then
Are-
can I ask one question?
Yep, okay.
So as far as timing, I was thinking that we would get this all cleaned up and posted like next Monday and then run the ad for like 30 days. We'd put it out on our website and Indeed with WCA and with a lot of our other partner things. I think that, you know, we tried to kind of add some things to the job description. So hopefully that we get some more people who are more local apply. And I don't think that we need to get a consultant again to get us things, applicants. But I guess I need to know from you what your thoughts are on just letting us try to advertise and reach out to our contacts and their listservs and the state job sites and before getting a consultant, or do you want me to come back with consultant information next month?
Are you gonna limit yourself to just Wisconsin then?
No, because some of those things have postings across the country, like Indeed does, and the State Job Center has multiple postings, and then we could also post it with like the Wisconsin Association for Administrators and Executives, which then also has a national tie. So we can post it with Wisconsin counties that can go to NACO. So we can get it out to, it won't just be limited to Wisconsin. But, you know, I think that we're hoping that we get people who are either already in the area and qualified or interested in coming to the area and being invested in the area, so that hopefully we can have someone that lasts more than a couple of years.
And I'll tell you, I've gotten requests or recommendations from several people. So I know there are people that are interested that are in the area. And then also, when we get to the point, you know, if we get to a point and we're not happy with our candidates, we can always go ahead and go with the headhunters or whatever we want to call them later, because that's always that's that much more of a cost with that as well. So I would recommend trying this first. So
I also had a question down the line when you actually do the interviews. You said it's going to be just the executive committee.
Not necessarily. That's who I'm going to that's who I normally report to. So that's who I would start with to say, how do you want to do this? Do you want me to take it to the full board? Do you want to set up an interview committee? So we can also, if you'd like, I can just put that on the agenda for next month. And we can talk about if we want to set up an interview committee or how we want to do that. I think that it works out better if we have, you know, like a couple sets of interviews. I don't mind talking to the 11 of you all at once, but it's kind of a lot to have 11 supervisors sitting on an interview panel, and weeding through applications and stuff. So, I mean, that's all open. My original plan was to take it to exec and figure out if they wanted to take it to the full board, if they wanted to have an interview committee review it, if they want it. I don't really know what you want. So the first time around, we had, I think it was the executive committee started along with myself and Deb Berenger. The second time around, we used a consultant and they kind of weeded through everything and then gave recommendations on who should be interviewed. But the committee could pick whoever they wanted. So it really is open for whatever. I guess right now, my biggest questions are, do you want a consultant or not? And if not, that means that I can start posting this and get it out there, have like a window so that we would have the applications starting to come in while the election is still going on. And then there would still be time after the election was over to have people be able to apply. You know, maybe somebody doesn't want to apply not knowing who's going to be their ultimate boss. So we want to have enough time after the election is done and announced so that people can say, oh, this is who it's going to be. And maybe, yeah, I'll apply. So those are my big questions right now on timing. Like, when should I post it? And do you want a consultant? Because if you want a consultant, then I'm not even going to post it. I'm just going to get the consultant information.
What are you looking at dollar wise for a consulting firm to do this?
I think last time we paid them 16,000, I think was what it was.
So there's a consultant that I know that is interested in helping us with job postings and focused on putting the right hire in the right spot the first time. Because the reality is, if you get the wrong person in the job, the expense of training them and then going through, the labor that puts on the other county employees and for placing the wrong person in the wrong spot or in the right spot. And then if that person happens to be someone that's toxic for the work environment, it's worse yet. So I think that the consultant that I'm looking at, his name is Lee Bushmaker, Bushmaker Consulting, and he uses predictive index to find the right hire the first time. And the software that the county would be looking at, I think for the amount of employees we have, would be around $20,000 annually for the software. But if you look at placement of the wrong person in a position is typically what that costs the county is going to be one time or more that person's annual salary, just in the expense of the hassle of placing the wrong person in the wrong spot. So I would make a recommendation of at least looking into using a consultant, because I think though it's money up front, the cost of placing the wrong person can be catastrophic. And then if we have someone leave prematurely, then we're putting added stress on people like our corporate counsel.
The other consideration here is we do have a sort of a beefed up HR department now too, with the director and with Kelsey there too. So possibly some of that could be done through them if we choose not to go.
Yeah, this would be a software that the HR department would implement and then use for all hires throughout the county. And I think it would benefit the county greatly.
But his software doesn't do the posting and the advertising and all of that, right? It's after we get the applications.
You can link it into all those accounts to where
okay.
the HR director could post to those directly with preloaded job descriptions for exactly the type of person you're trying to get into that spot.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think I guess I'm feeling that the thought is to get it posted to begin with. Is that because that's not really to do with the hiring process yet. That will just be the posting of the job.
Yeah,
So-
it does craft job postings in a way that's targeting, uses language that targets the type of person that is best suited for a role like you're looking for. And so it's something that could be implemented in short order to, I've been talking to Lee about this for the county, and he would be able to work on it right away if it's something that we're interested in. I don't want to speak for him, but he could craft up the job posting for the administrator position and use it as a kind of a preview of what he could offer for the county for future positions as well.
Mhm. Is that something that maybe can be brought either to this group or to exec so we can look, because we don't really have, I mean, I've seen the presentation, but
Right, I will.
the other people
I'll
have
have to
not.
bring that back because I don't have anything on the agenda for money
that.
anyways.
Right.
So, I'll get the job description cleaned up and then I will be back at our next meeting.
Or exec, even if you want to bring it
Yep,
there. So-
okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ruth. And the motion did pass as well, so that will be our job description for the county administrator. All right, very good. We'll move into Part C, consideration, possible action on the following resolutions and ordinances. Resolution number 05-03-24, resolution creating initial organizational structure for the new department, Facilities and Parks Management. Is there a motion for this resolution? Motion by Eckstein. Is there a second? Second by Bonfiglio. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote on it.
Yep.
Okay, the resolution passes. Resolution number 06-03-24, establishing total annual compensation for county elected officers pursuant to 59.22 Wisconsin statute, county clerk, register of deeds, and treasurer. Is there a motion for this resolution? Motion by Mr. Wadle. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Peterson. Is there any discussion?
I have a few questions.
Okay,
So it's my understanding that these constitutional officers are not compensated or are not considered for pay increases along with the rest of the county employees. Is that correct,
By
Ruth?
statute, they are not allowed to.
Okay,
So we have to set their salary for the full 4-year term before they take out papers for that 4
all
years.
right, excellent. That's the question that I do have. That answers both of them. Thank you.
Yep.
okay. Is there any other questions? Okay, we'll proceed to vote on that.
Mr. Cap?
One,
Yes or no? Pardon?
just a sip.
Yes or no on the resolution? No?
One.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yep.
Okay, the resolution passes. All right, resolution number 07-03-24, a resolution confirming the appointment of Michael Lechner as Facilities and Parks Management Director. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Bossard. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
Yep.
Mr. Cap?
Staff.
Yes or no?
Okay. Okay, the resolution passes. All right, resolution number 08-03-24, a resolution thanking the Aurora Snow Blazers Snowmobile Club for their contributions to the Ottobrei Park. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Eckstein, second by Mr. Kirschner. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote on that.
Mr. Cap? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yep.
Okay, the resolution passes. Resolution number 09-03-24, resolution acknowledging the commendable service of Brandon Bonfiglio as a Washera County Supervisor. And I would just like to read this real quickly. Whereas Brandon Bonfiglio was elected on April 2018 to Washera County Supervisory District 1 as a representative for the Town of Aurora, Wards 1 and 2, Town of Marion, Ward 2, Town of Warren, Ward 1, the Village of Laurelville, Ward 1, and City of Berlin, Ward 7. And whereas Mr. Bonfiglio has served as Chair for the Library Services Committee, Vice Chair of the Veterans Service Committee, and was the County Board Second Vice Chair. And whereas Mr. Bonfiglio did serve on various other boards and committees, including the Board of Health, Executive Committee, Human Services Board, Economic Development Corporation, and Transportation Coordinating Committee. Now therefore be it resolved by the Washera County Board of Supervisors as follows. 1, Mr. Bonfiglio is hereby commended for his commitment and dedication he has provided in his 6 years as a Washera County Supervisor. And number 2, the Washera County Board does hereby commend Mr. Bonfiglio for his dedicated, faithful, and diligent service to this county. Every good wish goes to him for a happy and healthful future. Is there a motion for this resolution? Motion by Mr. Kirschner. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bossard. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Cap?
On that.
Yes or no? Thank you.
Okay, the motion passes, the resolution passes. All right, and then we have resolution number 10-03-24, resolution acknowledging the commendable service of Mike Cap as a Washera County Supervisor. And I'd also like to read Mike's resume here. Whereas Mr. Cap was elected in April of 2016 to the Washera County Supervisory District 4, which was mostly recently represented the town of Leon, Ward 4, the town of Warren, Ward 2, and the Village of Red Granite, Wards 1 and 2. And whereas Mr. Cap has served as chair or vice chair of several committees, including the Land Information Council, Land, Water, and Education Committee, Planning and Zoning Committee, and the Veteran Services Committee. And whereas Mr. Cap did serve on numerous boards and committees, including the Aging and Disability Resource Center Governing Board, Buildings and Grounds Committee, Economic Development Corporation, Land Use Committee, Red Granite Library Board, Library Services Committee, and others. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Washera County Board of Supervisors as follows. 1, Mr. Cap is hereby commended for the commitment and dedication he has provided in his 8 years as a Washera County Supervisor. And number 2, the Washera County Board does hereby commend Mr. Cap for his dedicated, faithful, and diligent service to the county. Every good wish goes to him for a happy and healthful future. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Bonfiglio, second by Mr. Wadle. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Cap, yes or no?
Good. Okay, very good. And that resolution passes. All right, and now resolution number 11-03-24, resolution acknowledging the commendable service of Everett Eckstein as Washera County Supervisor. And I would like to read his as well. Whereas Everett Eckstein was elected in April of 1992 to Washera County Supervisory District 10, later representing Washera County Supervisory District 6, and finally representing Washera County Supervisory District 5, which encompasses the town of Rose, Ward 1, town of Springwater, Wards 1 and 2, and the village of Wild Rose, Ward 1. And whereas Mr. Eckstein did serve on numerous boards and committees, including the Executive Committee, Board of Health, Commission on Aging, Land Information Council, Land, Water, and Education Committee, Public Works Board, several lake management districts, Patterson Memorial Library Board, Personnel Committee, Public Safety Committee, and others. And whereas Mr. Eckstein served as chairman or vice chairman on many of these committees and boards, and was the county board second vice chair from 2019 to 2022. And whereas Mr. Eckstein, as the Board of Health chair from 2018 to 2024 has strongly supported the mission, vision, and core values of the Health Department and has advocated to strengthen the essential public health services. And whereas Mr. Eckstein was the longest-serving elected official of the Commission on Aging Board, providing 16 years of dedicated leadership and support in assuring that essential programs and services were available to Waushara County older adult residents. Now therefore be resolved that Mr. Eckstein is recognized for his 32 years of service and contributions to the residents of Waushara County. We wish you good luck in your future and thank you. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Bossard. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Proceed to vote.
Mr. Cap, yes or no?
Okay, and the resolution passes. I would just like to ask for a round of applause for these three for their service. Thank you very much for this. All right. Okay, then we'll move on to ordinance number 684, ordinance amending the Waushara County codes numbers 8, 42, and 58. 8 is buildings and building regulations, 42 is subdivisions, and 58 is zoning. Is there a motion for this ordinance? Motion by Mr. Bossard, second by Mr. Bonfiglio. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
Mr. Cap, yes or no?
Okay, the ordinance passes. And ordinance number 685, amending Chapter 2, Article 8 of the Courthouse Complex Security. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Bonfiglio. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Peterson. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
Mr. Cap, yes or no?
Okay, very good. That ordinance passes. Part D is appointments. We have appointment to the Ethics Board. We're nominating Donna Collada from Watoma, and all of these will have the term of April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2027. So we have Donna Collada from Watoma, Mike Likeness from Watoma, Kent Peterson from Wild Rose, and Linda Steffen from Wild Rose. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Kirschner, second by Mr. Wadle. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Cap, yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay, very good. That appointment passes. And finally, we have a proclamation. The proclamation is proclaiming April 1st through the 7th of 2024 as National Public Health Week. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Bossard, second by Mr. Bonfiglio. Is there any discussion? Okay, go ahead and vote.
Mr. Eckstein? Mr. Cap, yes or no?
Okay, very good. That proclamation passes. Is there any board suggestions for future agenda items? And I will remind you, the next meeting will be at 9 a.m. on April 16th. That'd be the reorganization meeting. So is there any?
If I can just remind everybody that Barry is going to need tablets, even continuing supervisors, he needs tablets before the next election to get them, or I'm sorry, before the next county board meeting to get them reset with new emails and such. So if you don't have any meetings between now and the next board meeting, you can leave it with Barry tonight. Otherwise, after your last committee meeting before the April reorg meeting, if you can get it to IT, please.
And also there is a small reception here for our retiring board members, and all of you go ahead and help yourself to water and cookies there. So, all right, is there a motion then to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Eckstein. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bonfiglio. We're adjourned. Thank you. I saw you raise your. Thank you, Brandon.
Can I get a picture of you and Mike and Everett together, please, before you depart?
Congratulations, sir. Thank you.